Your phone and your brain run on moving ions. Different ions, same principle. In phones, it's lithium, in brains, it's sodium and potassium. But the secret is the same. Moving ions generate electrical signals. This is electrochemistry. You don't need to be a scientist to benefit from understanding it, because it explains how you think, how your thoughts are generated, how your phone keeps running, how we power entire cities, but yet so many people give up on it because it is explained so badly. My professors, he was just throwing symbols on the blackboard and explaining them without really explaining the meaning of them. I was wasting so much time trying to understand things that these professors were supposed to explain. And so yeah, I just started memorizing, getting also good grades, even though I didn't feel good about myself, because after 5 days from the exam, there was nothing. Completely forgot everything. They never told me why those symbols or those equations matter, and they absolutely never told me what were their meaning, what were their connection to the real life. And I ended up thinking that one, science was just maybe not for me, and second, that I was not smart enough. And that was not true. It was not my fault. It is not our fault, because professors very rarely give us the full picture. So my professors, they were just talk for an hour, draw some graphs, and then it still didn't make any sense. And I think it's because they really didn't understand it themselves. If you can't explain something simply, you didn't understand it well enough. When I was asking them questions, most of the time they were just repeating what they were saying. I'm not deaf, I understand what you're saying, I'm asking you to explain it in a different way. And after the third time, some of them were getting pissed, and some of them told me that my questions were wrong. What? I think that electrochemistry is not hard because it's complicated. I mean, it's not easy, I get that. But I think this professor make it extremely complicated because they explain it without context. So, for example, the way my professor explained the Nernst equation, actually 2 professors explained it. So the first showed us the PowerPoint, draw a graph, and call it a day. And the second professor just did actually interesting mathematical derivation, and that was it. I don't know you, but my level of focus is golden retriever puppy level. If you don't entertain me, you lose me. I wish they just explained me, with this equation, you can predict the voltage of a battery or of an electrochemical reaction without even making the experiment. Wow! Or the Battle-Bomber equation. My god, the Battle-Bomber equation. Pwah! That one that made the derivation of the equation, I lost it after 5 minutes. And then the other one just slapped it on the PowerPoint and tried to explain it. I was still lost at what alpha meant, and then he drew the graph, and I was like, why do I have to put effort into learning that thing? I wish they just explain, hey, this equation explains why your phone dies when it's cold. It doesn't take that much. If you're like me, you had professors that not only did not explain you things properly, but also made you feel stupid because they were too insecure and they were trying to protect their ego instead of admitting, hey, I'm a professor, I know I'm supposed to know this, but I don't. And that would have been just fine. So if you are like me, this is the channel for you. I decided to make this channel because I think science was always meant for everybody. And I think a lot of people give up on science, not because it's hard, but it's because how professor make them feel, how teacher make them feel. Just think about how many people even just by hearing the word math, they get nausea. And I'm sure that they felt extremely stupid during school, high school, or whatever because of their teachers. And I also believe that somewhere in the past, just a tiny group of people decided to start using a very exclusive language to explain scientific things, just for the purpose of making it exclusive. Very few people can reason that way, and so out of 30 kids, just one would understand that way. All the others would feel stupid. But that doesn't mean they're stupid. We all have a different way of understanding things, but they only use one way, and most of the time is the mathematical way. Don't get me wrong, like math is extremely important, but it's not just about math. It's also about understanding concept. And I truly believe that if you cannot give like a visual image about something, you didn't understand it. So I want to make this channel because this is a channel I wished I would have found when I was trying to make sense of things that didn't make any sense back then. And I want to start with electrochemistry because, I mean, first, it's the topic of my PhD, so it comes easier for me. But I also think that electrochemistry is so much more. I think it's one of the sciences that is taught the worst, and at the same time is the one that we live every day. Our body functions because of electrochemistry. Our devices functions because of electrochemistry. The rust that you find on iron is electrochemistry. I truly believe that science was always meant for everybody. I'm not saying that everybody should be like a scientist, because we need also doctors, plumbers, farmers, etc. Okay, we cannot survive if everybody's just a scientist. But I truly believe that we can save this planet if everybody truly understands what's going on. Because I think that if we really understand equations or scientific things, we are more protected against fake news. And I think we can also take more conscious decision about the environment, about our lifestyles, okay? Taking the bike instead of using the car. Because if you truly understand how energy your car is using, maybe you wouldn't use it. And if you also understood how you're using the energy that comes from your food to move your body on the bike, you would think, why should I just pay and pollute the environment with a car when I can just stay more healthy and use my legs? And this is one of the reasons I'm starting this channel, because I truly believe that everybody deserves to understand in a simple way science, and perhaps one day save also the planet. So for example, take your battery of your phone. Like, do you know why if your phone gets warm, it's a bad thing? So what happens is that the demand that you're asking to the battery is too much. So your ions are gonna move too fast, then the friction is gonna increase, then you're gonna waste energy as warmth. And that can also damage the structure of your battery. One thing that you can do to prevent that is to first, please try to avoid fast charging unless it's necessary. I also like them sometimes, but I think you also notice that the more fast charger you use, the more the life of your battery decreases. And second, also using heavy apps, for example, I don't know, Pokemon Go, you're using the screen, the internet connection, the GPS, camera, so you're using all of these things, and your phone has to request a huge amount of energy from your battery. So please treat your ions gently, okay? Avoid fast charging and heavy apps. Or at least one thing that you can do is, as soon as you feel your phone starts getting hot, just put it down, let your ions rest. They do a great job every day, let them rest. One other thing that functions on electrochemistry that cannot be replaced is your brain. I think they are studying the brain transplant. Anyway, how can you treat your brain more gently? Do not drink, at least not too much. I know, I also like sometimes a nice beer, a nice wine, but as soon as you're feeling like, stop. Because you are messing up with the electrochemistry of your brain. And your brain is not the only organ that functions on electrochemistry. For example, your lungs, their breath relies on electrochemical feedback. Your eyes can turn the light into an electrochemical signal. You don't see just with your eyes, you see with electrochemistry. That was cringe, okay? I thought it would have been poetic, but nah. But isn't it mind-blowing that we can use the same science that powers our body to achieve the impossible, to explore spaces, to explore other planets, to cross the oceans, to save lives, and yet it's so freaking boring when you are in lectures. It's so damn complicated. It's like, what is this thing? But here is where it gets even cooler. What if I told you that there is a number that can predict the future of a reaction? So a number that tells you, will this battery work? Is this reaction even worth trying? It's called Gibbs free energy, and it saved the industry literally billions. Click on the next video if you're ready to understand the meaning of Gibbs free energy.